Sure.
Let me know when we're good to go.
Yeah, I'd like to do my thumbs up. That's my move. I think
Okay.
we're almost there though. And just to let you guys know, Sam Stivers and Mr. Lit are in the audience.
Welcome to both of them.
Okay, you're all.
Good. Thank you. And it's good to see all of you again. It's been quite some time. And it appears like next time we'll be in person. Does anyone want to volunteer to read this statement? My voice is not great today, so I'll do it if you don't have it in front of you. But if anyone has it, is willing to read it, I would appreciate it.
Give me a moment. I'll pull it up. Apparently, we won't be reading this this message anymore.
Looks that way.
That's not something I'm looking forward to. Sorry. it's kind of buried here. Hold on. We'll get to it. Kathy, you don't happen to have it, do you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you can't find it, I did print it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, so, meeting of the Cable Television Committee, Wednesday, June 9th, 2021,
Ooh, you're
5
right.
PM, virtual meeting. Pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Southborough Cable TV Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by the members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough website at www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner: by finding the meeting at www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video transcript or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate it. Okay, let's move on. First order of business is the approval of the September 30, 2020 minutes, which have been previously circulated by Will. Any addition, changes, corrections anyone has?
No,
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
a motion to approve the minutes of September 30, 2020.
I second.
We have to do votes by roll call. Kathy,
Yes,
Will,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. The minutes are approved. Thank you, Will, for doing that. So you all saw the communications we received from Comcast, the 3 documents being the filing with the state, the letter to the Board of Selectmen, and the draft proposed renewal license. And before I communicated with Comcast, I thought, although I think we know what we're going to be looking for based on our prior renewal licenses with Charter and Verizon. I think we need to talk about that and make sure we're all on the same page. In my mind, there are really only 3 items to talk about. One is the 4%, which they're proposing. And since we got 5% from Verizon and 5% from Charter, I would see no reason why we wouldn't insist on 5% from Comcast, but I'm open to what people think about that.
I would think we should go for 5%.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, there is one thing though, sort of that bears on that, which is that, in the proposed contract, they talk extensively, many times, about a level playing field. And I'm surprised that they didn't ask for a 5-year renewal.
Well, I don't think they know because the last I checked, the other licenses are still not posted on the state website. So, but from their perspective, they would prefer, even if we only did 5. You remember that Charter came in and they wanted a 10-year as well. And we only agreed to 5 because to get comity between the contracts. The only way we could do it was either some sort of reopener with Charter or something like that. And it just got simpler to say to Charter, we're only going to do 5 years. So, and we can talk about that. For Comcast is in a little different situation in that they only have approximately 32 subscribers. And the best information I've been able to get so far in trying to find out why they didn't ask for the whole town in 2011, and they're not asking for it now, is apparently when Comcast first came in, when they were installing Framingham, they got confused as to where the border was. And so they accidentally installed for this very small chunk along Pine Hill Road. And to be fair, I don't know where the border is on Pine Hill Road between Framingham and Southborough. And in fact, if you read their renewal license, it says they're going to broadcast Framingham PEG channels. And
Right.
I've communicated with Caitlin to this, and that's accurate. You can get Southborough because it's part of the package, but Southborough doesn't broadcast through Comcast the way it does through Verizon and Charter to Southborough homes. So it's really just an add-on to Framingham. I mean, they're paying us for this, but it's only because they have to have a license in Southborough to broadcast to those homes in Southborough, those 30 plus homes. So, so in one sense, we could say, let's give them 10 years because we really don't care. And the only way it could come back, well, one way where it could conceivably come back to bite us, although I think it's highly unlikely, is if the federal government should raise the 5% cap to 6% or something, and we subsequently got Verizon and Charter to go to 6%. But I've not seen anything to suggest anyone's even talking about raising that cap. So I think that's very unlikely. Now, the one area where it could is if we decided to go to Charter and say, hey, wait a minute, you talked about a level playing field, but the other cable providers pay money for capital
Right.
improvements, and you don't pay anything. So if we were to say we want something on capital, then we may not be interested in going to 10% because, again, we don't know what Verizon and Charter are going to do once their current licenses expire on capital payments.
We did get some money besides the licensing fees from Charter, correct?
Yeah, we got 19,000.
Okay, and that, what bucket does that fall into?
That's the capital piece I'm talking about.
Okay,
So the 5% goes for operational expenses and the additional funding goes to capital.
okay. One background question would be, the language that we were concerned about that had been come up under Ajit Pai in the last administration. Has that been changed, or is that still in effect?
I'm sorry, which language? Excuse me, which language? Oh,
The
level-
fair market
level
value
playing field
language. Yeah.
No, that's the language that we agreed to. That has not been changed. But I will say, I don't think Verizon or Charter cares at all about Comcast, given that they have 32 subscribers. I think they
Right.
care about each other, but I don't think they care. But having said that, I frankly would be in favor of going to Comcast and saying, like, my quick back of the envelope calculation suggests that based on what Charter is paying, that Comcast should pay roughly $1,400 a year,
Right.
or $1,400 over the 5-year of the contract.
Well,
And I
that
think-
brings up just a quick question, which would be, I don't know if we have any obligation to share the contracts that we have concluded with Cablevision, but would it make sense from a good faith effort to do that?
Well, I mean, they're public documents. There's no reason we can't share them. And I can certainly make representations about what they're paying and offer to share the licenses. And again, given their extensive language about level playing field, I think they'd be hard pressed to argue that they shouldn't have to pay it. Again, it's pennies in the scheme of things, but I think it's a fairness issue. I think we, as you point out, Will, have an obligation to say that to them, that this is commensurate with what the other providers are paying. And again, I don't know what their basis would be for saying, no, we're not going to do that. And we have them a little bit we have some leverage here because, this is essentially part of the Framingham system. And, I don't know when I didn't check when Framingham last negotiated with them, but this is, they're wedded to this. I think it would be hard for them to shut this piece off and without somehow affecting Framingham, which I'm sure they don't want to do. So we would have, in addition to the language that's already in their proposal, I don't think they're going to fight that.
Now, when I read the contract, and I noticed that, the Framingham PEG channels, I was under the impression that they were just saying that because that would be in addition to the Southborough PEG channels. But what you're saying now is that they provide the Framingham channels only to those 32 homes. Is that correct?
No. So in their basic package, there are links. So you get, just like we get other towns, we get the
Oh.
PE channels of other towns around Southborough.
Okay,
So their primary feed is Framingham, but this is what Caitlin was explaining to me, but those people can have access to the Southborough channels as well.
okay. Do we know if they've concluded a new contract with Framingham recently?
I haven't looked, and again, the state, I can take a quick look. The state website is not particularly up to date,
Right,
and I'm not sure whether it's the cable providers are slow in getting them out, or let's see, cable information. Because as I said, we concluded with Verizon in 2019, and last I checked, our agreement was not there.
okay.
So, but I can. Here we go. Framingham.
No, I mean, the reason I ask is,
So
No,
they
it-
have one from 2020 for Comcast, March of 2020.
oh, so it is there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
But I can
Um,
check whether they're making a capital payment. I assume if they're covering the whole city of Framingham, they must be making a capital payment. Let's see, page 28. Okay, it's loading.
Okay. The reason I ask about the Framingham contract or whether or not they've concluded one recently is just, and this could cut both ways, for or against us. They may have language in that new contract that we want to level, that we would like them to put in ours, maybe, or, on the other hand, they might, look at what we're doing and they might want to change some things.
Well, and I should say, in terms of Bill Hewig, I've had conversations with Mark about this, and because it's such a small, covers such a small area, we're not going to bring Bill in for the negotiations with Comcast, but Bill will review the final agreement before we pass muster on it. So we make sure everything's covered from a legal perspective, but we didn't see a need to be paying him for given there's not a lot to negotiate here. I don't expect it to be particularly time consuming. So okay, so they're paying Framingham 0.59% of gross annual revenue for capital. I have no idea what that amounts to, but they are making the payments. So all the more reason that I think we should ask for that.
Okay,
And I was going to say my back of the envelope calculations, I can fine tune this, but we're roughly $1,400 over the course of 5 years.
okay.
So, so are we, so given that we're going to ask for capital contribution, I think to be consistent, we'd only want to do a 5-year agreement because we don't know what Verizon and Charter are going to be doing from a capital perspective in the ensuing 5 years.
I think that's reasonable, and maybe that's a better way to go. Simply because then, they won't be worried that, we lock them into a 10-year license and everybody else is getting 5, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from their perspective, I think they would prefer 10 because then it's all fixed. They know what it is and they don't have to worry about it anymore. And let me see what they got from Framingham. Well, while I'm doing that, so are we in agreement that we'll look for 5%, 5-year contract and approximately, and I'll fine tune it, but approximately $1,400 in capital? Is everybody on board with that?
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. And then it sounds like there's some other things which we may or may not be changed, as we've been discussing.
Yeah, I mean, if Bill sees things in the language, I'm just being a former lawyer who knows nothing about this kind of law. A lot of it, I read it and my eyes gloss over and I have no idea what it means or whether it's standard language or, they're trying to slip something in. So that's why, I think we'll have time to come back after we sort of reach agreement on financial terms and length to figure out if there's something else we need to be doing. And we'll certainly make that clear okay, so it is a 10-year agreement with Framingham.
Okay,
So I think what we want to do is have a meeting with the Comcast representative. And he offered to meet with us. So we can go through this as a group. And, we can ask questions, he can ask questions. I think that's the way I would prefer to go, if that's acceptable to everybody.
that sounds great, actually.
okay.
Are people around, because I tend to be away a lot in the summer, but I'm going to be around pretty much the week of June 20th. I think that's the Sunday, but the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. How did those dates look for people?
Let me take a peek at my calendar here. 23rd, 24th.
22nd, 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, I'm available.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I don't have my paper calendar in front of me.
The only time that I'm not available would be between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. on the 22nd.
Okay, so anytime after 1 on the 22nd.
Yep, and any time on the other 2 days.
Okay, and Kathy, if you need to check your calendar and you could email me with.
If you hang on, I'm gonna go get it right now.
Okay, that's fine. It's interesting that the 2 providers that cover the whole town, it's like pulling teeth to even get to talk to them, and impossible to get a renewal license done on time. But for the provider that has 32 subscribers, they're knocking at our door, to get things moving so they can get it wrapped up on time.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking the month of June now, in a couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm available.
so we could do the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th, 22nd after 1, and anytime. It would be in the afternoon, I think, on the 23rd or 24th.
That sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Okay, great. Well, let me
Now you'll have to book a room, you know.
I heard about that. Well, I've got connections in the townhouse, so hopefully that'll work for me. Okay. I don't mean to cut anything short, but is there anything else we need to discuss?
Just a quick question. I mean, the Cablevision folks, they've made all, and the Verizon folks, they've made all the payments that they had promised. All that's going okay.
Yeah, I had some back and forth with Verizon because they were technically accurate in their payment, but it seemed to me they could have bumped up to the 5% more expeditiously than they did. But what they did was strictly in line with what the contract says. So they persuaded me that we didn't have we wouldn't prevail if push came to shove. So I let it go, but I let them know that they could have been more generous. Let's put it that way. But they're all paying the 5% now, and they're making their other payments. So so far so good in that front.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, again, it's great to see both of you. I'm glad to see everyone survived in good health. And I look forward to seeing you in person probably in a couple of weeks. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, Kathy?
Yes.
Will?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. And Ryan, thank you for your time and for not hating us. We appreciate it.
You mask it very well.
All right. Well,
Bye.
take care, everyone.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.